It's rare that an anime transcends into normal media. I'm a big fan of anime, but it's not something I can usually recommend. An anime recommendation usually comes with a caveat. Yes, the show is great, but 90% is voiceover or dialogue in the character's head.
But after only one day, Killua's interference brought the process to a grinding halt.
Or worse, you have to have that awkward conversation where, how do I say this without getting arrested? Does the kill la kill thing. Attack on Titan seems to avoid all of these issues. It's just a genuinely great show. And yes, I've read the manga, I know the ending, still love the show. But we're not debating Jaegerists versus Marleyan philosophy today. Today, I want to talk about how the visuals of the show are used to enhance the viewing experience and how Attack on Titan manages to do this despite having a fairly simplistic art style. Based on the title and thumbnail, I'm sure you can guess how I'm going to prove this point. Now, plenty of animated shows use facial cues to display emotion. That's not unique at all. Every visual medium involving characters does this. But what's unique about Attack on Titan is there is no inner monologue. Nothing to tell you what the characters are feeling, and no way to express their emotions besides what is shown on their face and in their body language. And it excels in this department. The subtlety used in facial expressions in this show is so impressive. From moment to moment, a character's entire demeanor can change, just based on the expression of their eyes. We're going to look at some A-B examples here of the same character, just in different moments, so you can see the value of facial expressions, and just how well emotions are portrayed in this anime. Let's start off easy. Eren, the MC. This is what 4 seasons of torment does to a man. The life is drained from his face. All of that childish wonder completely gone, crushed by the sheer weight of responsibility and knowledge of what's to come. But how about a less expressive character? Let's look at Levi. For the majority of the show, Levi makes this face. This one. But there are still complex emotions expressed through his face in the context of the moment. And on the rare exception when emotion does seep through his placid mask, we know the emotion he's feeling in that moment is more intense than ever. How about Hanji, the polar opposite of Levi? Someone who wears their expressions plain on their face. You can feel the thrill in her being at scientific discoveries, or the wonder in her heart as she marvels at the Titans. But even after she loses 50% of her ability to express emotion, we can still see those more subtle emotions displayed across her face. Grim determination, loss, tenacity. Lastly, let's look at Mr. Contradiction himself, Reiner. The difference between Season 1 and Season 4 Reiner is startling. My man has been through some shit. From being the headstrong macho muscle of the group, to a split personality, clinically depressed war veteran overflowing with PTSD. But I mean, what do you expect when these are the 2 most present people in your life? Me, when I have to watch any scene with Gabby in it.
I'll eat them myself.
Eren!
20 delicious McNuggets that you love so much.
And you can pull any scene with Reiner and know instantly if he has his Eldian mask up or not. To be able to display this subtle character shift in an animated face is just outstanding. And when Reiner's 2 worlds collide, you can see the struggle on his face. The inability to maintain the divide between these 2 personalities and 2 sets of goals. When the dam breaks, and he's saying the words of a warrior with the face of a scout, and we know something is wrong. And shut up, I love this part.
こんな半端なクソ野郎にならずに済んだのにもう俺には何が正しいことなのかわからんただ俺のすべきことは自分のした行いや選択に対し戦士として最後まで責任を果たすことだ
Everything that you thought had meaning, every hope, dream, or moment of happiness, none of it matters as you lie bleeding out on the battlefield. None of it changes what a speeding rock does to a body. We all die. But does that mean our lives are meaningless? Does that mean that there was no point in our being born? Would you say that of our slain comrades? What about their lives? Were they meaningless? They were not! Their memory serves as an example to us all! The courageous fallen, the anguished fallen, their lives have meaning because we, the living, refuse to forget them! And as we ride to certain death, we trust our successors to do the same for us! Because my soldiers do not buckle or yield when faced with the cruelty of this world! My soldiers push forward! My soldiers scream out! My soldiers rage!
So if you've never seen the show, that speech probably sounded pretty cool, but other than that, you likely didn't have much of a reaction. However, to those of you who have watched the show, I guarantee the weight behind Commander Erwin's words just gave you goosebumps. Context has a lot to do with how emotionally compelling a scene feels. Take this scene from Death Note, for example.
I'll take a potato chip and eat it.
Most people have probably seen the meme, I take a potato chip and I eat it. But when you're watching the show, it's like, holy shit, Light is 15 steps ahead. The point is, context is important. Especially in Death Note.
This is the first time in my life that I've been provoked to hit a woman.
But back to Attack on Titan, it's the journey you take with these characters that builds the emotional stakes. The 104th Cadet Corps is your rock in this show. You stay with them for its entirety, and it hurts when one of them dies. Just look at the characters here at graduation. How many crucial moments do you remember involving these characters? Yes, some of them are more minor, but each of them, especially the scouts, serves a role in the larger story. And since you stay with pretty much the same characters all the way through, you get to see the changes in them as the seasons progress. Everything, their demeanor, their mentality, their faces, bodies, even their haircuts. No one is the same from the beginning of this show to the end. And usually the changes are for the worse. The amount of trauma these characters endure is written plainly on their faces. The world of Attack on Titan is brutal, unforgiving, and it wears on our characters. And this buildup of pain makes them even more compelling. We feel the emotions they convey because we know what they've gone through. Jean doesn't hate Rainer because he's some arrogant prick. That was Season 1 Jean. Jean hates Rainer because he killed one of his best friends and is responsible for the suffering of hundreds of thousands of people within the walls. Not to mention all of those who died when Wall Maria fell. And these emotions are displayed not through exposition, but through the look in Jean's eyes. The grief and disdain he has for the man sitting across from him. And the rage and pain in his eyes when he takes his anger out on Rainer. These are just two of the characters in a large cast, and all of them have interweaving ties that create unique dynamics between them, all with their own personal goals and struggles. It's really incredible how fleshed out and unique each character is.
Pick your side, Krista. Eren, or the bitch I'm gonna kill.
Annie. 落ちて。
What is better, to be born good, or to overcome your evil nature through great effort?
Characters in Attack on Titan are given moments to let their individual personalities shine through. Take Gelgor, for instance.
Who?
Yeah, you probably don't remember his name, but I bet after seeing him, you remember that he loves alcohol. He's not a deep character or anything, but adding this little quirk gives him distinction and stops him from being just another guy that gets eaten by a Titan. There are plenty of these small character moments all throughout the series that you'll notice if you're looking for them. All of these moments build up, and together they create a fleshed out world that feels real and lived in. That statement feels like a good place to end the video, but we cannot have an Attack on Titan video without talking about
Eren Yeager!
Eren is the epitome of everything we've talked about so far. Not only does he go through the most changes in the show, but being the MC, we see his struggle in more detail than any other character. And what's such a cool detail about Eren is that he's not moving at the same pace the show is. Real quick, before I get into this, I don't know how anyone would make it to this point in the video and not have watched the show, but I'm about to spoil one of the largest plot points, so click away if you haven't seen it. Here, I'll give you 5 seconds while we listen to a demon from the shadows address Zeke.
What you think? Enemy forces are approaching. They're at the foot of the mountain.
Okay, they're all gone. Eren can see the future through his Titan abilities, and even more so when he's in contact with someone who has royal blood. When Eren touches Astoria, he is now here, at the end of the story, while we the audience are still a little over halfway through. Now he doesn't become the distant character of Season 4 Eren immediately. It takes a little time for him to process this information, but from this point out, we are no longer connected to Eren as a character simply because he is not in the same place in the timeline as everyone else. This can be seen in the contrast between him and the other characters. While other characters are struggling to comprehend Eren's actions and still processing the fact that there is a world outside of paradise, Eren is already at the end. And with this in mind, you can watch the characters catch up to him as the story progresses. By the end, everyone has the same look in their eyes that Eren has at the beginning of Season 4. They are now caught up. They know what he knew since before the time jump. And if that isn't proof enough that you can see time and knowledge wear on Eren, let's look back at this side by side. Eren's spirit has been utterly crushed by the passage of time and the knowledge of what he's going to do. This change is distinctly different from all his changes before gaining knowledge of the future. At other points in the show, Eren's eyes are filled with rage and determination, his past experiences fueling his quest to exterminate the Titans. Then you see Eren at the end, and his eyes reflect nothing but bitter sorrow, knowing what's to come, and giving his friends the freedom of choice in the end, and leaving nothing for himself.
Of all the people in the world that power could have gone to, Eren is by far the worst.